Hi, this is Deanna Kosaraju, founder of Global Tech Women. I'd like to start this session, Be Your Own Technology Brand Ambassador, with Pragati Ogal Rai, the Chief Technology Evangelist at PayPal, one of my favorite sites to visit. I use it quite often, so I'm excited to hear what she has to say. It's an incredibly brilliant role to be the chief technology evangelist, so I can't wait to hear how she made this career for herself and how we can all figure out our own technology path and how we can create our own brand in our own way of finding a very cool job just like hers. So with that, I will uh, put it in her capable hands. Just one thing with her PowerPoint presentation, I will be putting up online. You can drag and drop it on the screen anywhere so that you can watch her while you're watching her PowerPoint presentation. As she advances the slides, you will have to advance them as well. So she'll let you know what slide number she's on, so that way you can follow along with her. So with that, here she is.
Hello, everyone. Very, very nice to meet you all, and thank you for joining me at this time. My name is Pragati Rai, as Diana said, and I am PayPal's Chief Technology Evangelist. It's a really fancy title, and for some of you, it might be a new title as well. So let me tell you what exactly this title or what exactly I do. So, as part of PayPal, I am PayPal's face for PayPal technology to the outside world. Uh, so my job entitled that I go out, meet with the developers, meet with the startup community, meet with other technical folks from other companies, and establish PayPal as a company of choice for technologists. Talk about the cool things that are going at PayPal and make other people like us and be inspired by what we are doing and use us. And to do that, to build that kind of a technology branding for a company like PayPal, the first thing that I really have to do is to create a technology branding for myself, which means that I have to be respected by technologists, by my fellow colleagues, and be out there and have people listen to me, respect me, like me from a technology perspective. So this presentation actually uh, is is my learning are my learnings as I uh, grew into the role of the chief technology evangelist for PayPal. Uh, I've had a lot of successes and a lot of disappointments, and you'll see that I have captured them in the presentation. Before I proceed further, there's one thing that I want you to know, and that is I'd hate for this presentation to turn into a monologue where I'm speaking and you're not asking me any questions. I'd encourage you to ask me as many questions as you want. Whatever doubts that you have, whatever you agree with me or disagree with me, let's just talk it out and use this 1 hour to uh, to talk about what you're really passionate about. So, with that, let me begin with the presentation. And the title is Be Your Own Technology Brand Ambassador. And how, and which means how you would establish yourself as a, as a technical person, not within your own company, but also outside to the outside community, to the outside technologists, to to other companies that they'll be looking forward for you to join them. With this, I move on to the second slide, and this slide is about me, and call it a ego slide or whatever you want to call it. So, talks about the ways you can reach me, and I am very available for you. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, any concerns. If you want to talk to me for anything, I'm very happy to do that. Um, I've been in the technology space for over 15 years and have held different roles along the way. Started my career with as being a professor, moved on to took a break to go for further studies, then moved on to Motorola and worked there on mobile operating systems for about 6 years. Moved on to PayPal, where I moved to the front end side of mobile applications. And that is when I realized that I really had a passion for bringing people and technology together, of making technology easier for other people to understand and to use. So that led me to the role of an evangelist, where I'm meeting with the people who are technical or non-technical, talking about PayPal's technology and making it understandable and making it work for them. So I used to head up mobile developer relations for North America before my current role, and now I am the chief technology evangelist for PayPal. I'm also the author of the book Android Application Security Essentials. And yeah, that's me. And I love mobile, I love Android, security, payments, commerce. Those are all the things that get me really excited. Moving on to slide number 3 here. So, like I said, this presentation is all about you. This presentation is about how to make you successful and to help you establish a branding for yourself. Just like we have a branding for a company, we have a branding for a car, and everybody has like a favorite car that they want to ride in or a favorite dream company that they want to join. I want each one of us to create a branding for ourselves, that people want to hear us, people want to hire us, people want to listen to us when we are speaking. So that's the kind of technology branding. And in this presentation, we are going to talk about why is it really essential to have a technology branding for yourself. I know it involves a lot of time, a lot of energy. So why is it really necessary? The second question that I want to answer in this presentation is, what exactly is a technology brand? What does it do to you? And the third question is, how will you establish your technology brand? So these are the three questions that we'll try to answer in this presentation: why, what, and how. And please, any questions, feel free to interrupt me, and we'll discuss it right there. Moving on to slide number 4, the big question mark. And the reason for this presentation is, why should I create my technology brand? And I suggest you to stay on this slide for a minute and reflect with me. And I'm going to ask you a question. So, uh, so try to answer the question in your head and and think over it. So, how many people do you think, or how many software developers or professional software developers exist in the world today? How many software developers are there in our world today at the start of 2014? What do you think? I'll give you a minute to reflect on it. Okay, so uh, let's move on to the next slide, and there's the answer right there. So on slide 5, you'll see uh, that IDC research says that when we entered 2014, the number of professional software developers that we have in the world is 11 million. And on top of that, we have 7.5 million software developers who are hobbyists, who write code just because they want to. They have another job, but they still write code as a hobby. And this number, the 11 million professional software developer number, This number is 5.3 times more than in 2011. So in less than 3 years, the number increased by 5.3%. That's a big number, 11 million software professionals. And if you want to look at the distribution by region, let's move on to the next slide, slide 6. It says in United States, which is where we have the maximum number of software developers or software professionals like us, the number is 19.2%. It is closely followed, well, not closely followed. There's a gap, huge gap of around 9%, and the number second country is China, followed closely by India with 9.8%. So if you do the math, you'll find out that we have a lot, a big number of software developers who are our peers, who are also competition in a way, and who are also uh, in the same job market that we are. So, what is it that makes us so special, or that makes you so special among those 11 million software professionals? I'm moving on to slide number 7. That's what you'll see. You know, we got to stand out, and you got to stand out among those 11 million people. Why would a company like to hire you and not the rest of 11 million minus 1? That's the big question. And in my professional career of more than 15 years, I have realized that one thing that really helped me progress in my career, in the way I work, is a brand. And this brand is something that we all have to work on. And I'm going to give you some examples of people in the following slides of how they built their own brand, how that branding helps them get to where they are. So what I propose in this presentation is that we all, and uh, women I know are a little more like, even today I'm a little more shy than my male counterparts in talking about myself, in being more assertive in what I have done and not done. So what I suggest is, let's build a brand. Let's build a brand. Let's build U.Inc. And that is what is your technology brand. Now, let's spend some time on what is a technology brand. Then I'm talking about this technology brand over and over again. So what is this term? What is this thing that we're talking about? A technology brand. And I went to the Oxford Dictionary to find the meaning and see if I'm thinking on the right lines. And uh, it's a noun, and it's a type of product manufactured by a particular company under a particular name. So that maybe is a brand for a car, for a product that we buy, a soap, or shoes, other kind of things. The second meaning that they gave for brand is a particular identity or image regarded as an asset. And the third thing they say is a particular type or kind of something. So what resonated with me was the second definition, which is a particular identity or image regarded as an asset. So what we aspire to create, or what we want to create, is a particular identity in our technology domain that we work in and day out, that will differentiate us from other people, and that will help us get where we want to. Moving on to the next slide, slide number 11. One thing that I want to stress over and over and over again is that brand makes you unique. It makes you that one special person. Now, like there are the different colors in the rainbow. Each color is different. Each color is special, and it it resides with the other colors. Same as a brand. And let me give you my example here. So I work a lot in the field of Android security. And there are many, many people who are working in the same field. I know I know of William Eng, who is a great security researcher in the Android security domain. He works for Penn State. He wrote and he did his doctoral thesis there. And I read and follow his thesis very closely because he's the best that I know in the Android security research field. Then there's another person, Jesse Burns, who's a great Android security hacker. He writes a penetration testing for Android security and super, super, super geek. And you can actually look at his presentations in Black Hat conferences. Great guy, and I've taken his classes as well, and I have listened to him, to Jesse all the time. Great guy. And then there's me, who is also doing Android security. And what I like to do really is to make Android security easy for people, other people to understand and use. And that's my branding. That's my unique skill that I have, which is different from William, which is different from Jesse. And I know they do their part of this too, but they're great researchers and they're great hackers and geeks and penetration testing. And he writes tools. Jesse writes tools. So we're all we all have a different branding of ourselves, and we are unique in ourselves, but we are all working in the Android security field. So branding makes you unique. Now, if somebody is looking for a great Android, wants to, improve upon Android security, they'd rather go, they would prefer to go to William. Now, if somebody is looking for an evangelist, a person who can talk about Android security, explain it to masses, um, do hands-on, let's say, presentations, and connect with people, that would probably be me, because that's what has made me different. Although we have so many people in the Android security field, so that's my unique skill or my unique space that I have built for myself. Moving on to slide number 12. Now, this is a picture of Bill Scott. He is our senior director of UI engineering at PayPal. And let me tell you a little bit about him and why he is who he is at PayPal. For those of you who have seen the PayPal website, let's say a few years ago, and if they come and see it today, you'll see a huge difference. And this is the man behind all that, uh, all the difference. This is the man who made the difference, really. And he's an author. He is a thought leader. He believes in being lean UI design, uh, and he deeply, deeply believes in developing interfaces that delight the user, are light and useful. So when PayPal was looking for somebody who can actually come in and change the look and feel of PayPal, and to make it more responsive, to make it more delightful, to keep our customers happy, he was the person of choice, because PayPal knew that getting Bill Scott at PayPal will make a difference, and he delighted all our customers. So a brand creates credibility, visibility, and respect. Another example that I want to state here is that of, if you move to slide number 13, you'll see this pretty lady. Her name's Denise Cooper. And PayPal hired Denise a few I think a few weeks ago. Now, Denise is an open source diva. She's been her passion is that she believes in open source technologies. She wants to she has been working in that field forever, and she has started it grow and she's seen it grow from almost nothing to where it is today, where we have conferences dedicated to open source. So when PayPal was looking for its first head of open source, who else to hire but Denise? Because she's been doing it. She has been doing it. She has proven it, and she has done it over and over again. And it makes a big statement of PayPal's commitment to open source because we are getting the best of the lot. We are getting Denise, and she's been at different companies. She's been at Sun. She's a member of different open source initiatives. She was also the CTO of Wikimedia. So she is the head of PayPal open source. Excuse me. So I wanted to talk about Bill and I wanted to talk about Denise because both of them have done what excited them, what they liked to do. And they have spent a lot of energy doing that. And that is what has made them or given them the options of where they are today. So when you create a branding for yourself and you do what you like and you use proper tools to let other people know what your passion is and what you want to do and what you are doing, it's that you win. You win in the sense that you get what you're looking for, you get visibility, you get credibility, you have that unique place for yourself among those 11 million people that just belongs to you. And so that's what technology branding does for you. You win in whatever you want to do. Any questions so far? Deanne, do we have any questions so far? If there are, please, we can just take care of them. Okay. Okay. And I see Deanne. Okay. I also see that if you have any questions, you can reach us on Twitter. And the Twitter handle is we have a hashtag Voices 2014, so you can reach us there as well. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Important part. How do I create my technology brand? Now, this is the meat of the presentation. So, how do I create my technology brand? First and foremost, let us get one thing really clear here, and I'm on slide number 16, that we want to scale our visibility. You know, I know each one of you is great in the profession that you are doing. You could be a great you could be a great Java developer. You could be a great C++ developer, a C developer, and you're all working in teams of let's say 5 or 6 people, and you're pretty visible in that 5 or 6 people. But what we are talking about is how will you take that credibility that you have among a group of 5 or 6 people and take it to the rest of the world. So what we are talking about is scaling your visibility from your group, your company to the 11 million people we have there. And when somebody is looking for that particular person with that particular skill set, you are the first person that comes to mind. So we are talking about scaling your visibility. And the first rule of creating a technology brand is to be true to yourself. And I came across this great saying by Mark W. Parrott, and he says, not telling the truth is the quickest way to turn yourself into a stranger. That's true. Now, let's say you love Indian food. I love Indian food. And just because everybody else is eating Italian and I go and eat Italian food, I mean, I'm not a happy person. I'm not enjoying my meal and I'm not satisfied. The first rule of creating a technology brand is you have to believe in it. You have to really like it, and and that should be your passion because you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, trust me, to create your brand. If I don't like meeting people, and as part of my job, I spend around what, let's say, what, 70-80% of the time outside the office, talking to our customers, talking to developers, talking to startups. And if I do not enjoy that, I cannot sustain. So you have to be true to yourself. Uh, you have to really you have to really like uh, doing what you do to create the technology branding. Bill Scott loved the UI part and clean, clean designs. Denise believes in open source. She could, she used to manage a team of engineers earlier, and she could happily be doing that and be content. But her passion was open source, and that's what has taken her to where she is today. So you have to be really true to yourself, and this is what it is. And you'll see that I have a very known face here as well. You also have Deanna here, and I put her there because think about it, she's she is organizing this Voices conference, and she did it last year too, and again this year. It's a lot of effort. The first time she contacted me was in November 2013, and it's an incessant work, a lot of work. But if she doesn't believe in women in technology, she wouldn't be doing it, right? And imagine if somebody, and in doing so, what Diana has done is she has created a place for herself in this field. Right? If somebody is looking for 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 a role where they want conferences, they want a focus on women, she's the person who come to mind. So what I'm trying to say is you have to do what you love and you have to believe in, and then you have to do it with all your passion. That's what technology branding's first rule is. Moving on to slide number 19. Let's go back to slide number 18 for a minute because I want to talk about the other people here as well. So we have Deanna here. We have Bill here who believes in web interfaces and design. Denise for open source. Steve Jobs. Now, who would say that he has had so many ups and downs in his life, and but he believed in what he did. And we have Apple, and we have Steve books for Steve Jobs, and everybody loves him and respects him for what he does. We also have Bachendri Pal, the first lady uh, to reach Mount Everest, and we also have our first uh, pilot, Amelia Earhart. So you have to follow your heart with all the passion. Moving on to slide number 19. The second rule of creating technology branding is to develop a strategy. Now, we do a lot of work. You would be doing um, working on your project, and that's good. The challenge is how to take the work that you are doing and present it in such a way to the outside world that you create a special place for yourself. Now, let me give you an example here. Now, you let's say you're working on Eclipse. You use Eclipse for Android development, for Java development, and it's a tool that you use all the time. So you use Eclipse every day, day in and day out, and you suddenly feel that Eclipse is really nice, but I do wish that it had this particular plugin. You could keep wishing, you could create such a plugin and share it with your team, and that kind of builds your brand within your team. But if you go back and contribute that plugin to the open source, what you're doing is you are letting the rest of the world know what you're capable of. Because it's not just you who would be feeling that pain, there would be a lot of other people in the same boat who would be feeling that pain. And you're that special person who actually went ahead and created a plugin and solved the problem. You develop a strategy of how to take the work that you are doing and present it to the rest of the world so they acknowledge it. So you have to develop a strategy. You have to think of how to do that. You have to plan ahead. You have to say, okay, let me think that, okay, there's a big eclipse day, let's say, that's coming in your company, or there's a big open source convention happening somewhere. That might be a good time to actually push the code and let the rest of the world know that you have done that. Or let's say a great open source evangelist is coming to your town, and you go and talk to them, meet with them, and that's where you tell them, hey, you know what? I have this great um, uh, open source contribution that I have done to Eclipse, and that adds to your credibility. And develop a strategy of taking what you're doing within your company outside. Moving on to the next slide, slide number 20, you need to identify and use your tools. Oops, that's my son here. Now, can you please go? I'm in this. So you need to identify and use your tools, which means which you need to identify. So sorry. You need to identify and use your tools. Now, tools are, and we are lucky to be in this space today where we have a lot of tools. So we have a lot of open source projects that you can contribute to. We work on Mozilla day in and day out. We use it as a browser. We use GitHub, where we pull from the repositories and also push back. So we use GitHub. We use Linux, right? OpenOffice, a whole bunch of um, tools and technologies. We use them. A great way to build your brand is actually to give back to the community. To actually give back or contribute to push to these Git repositories, to push code back to the owner. So that's one great way of building your brand, and that's a great tool to use. The other great tool is, uh, you know, publishing. Uh, let's say you have been working on some mobile technology for a long time. Let's say you are into browsers, and then you have spent like 4 or 5 years doing browsers. You know your stuff. You know your stuff better than anybody else. But nobody else knows that you know your stuff the best. What will add to your credibility is if you go out and publish your stuff. Now, there are a lot of magazines outside, online magazines that will be very happy to publish your stuff. You can write, you can blog about what you're doing. You can go to conferences and speak your learnings. That's another great way of spreading the word about you. So you can use those things. You can go to a meetup. And if you don't find a meetup within your region, you can go ahead and create a meetup yourself with a group of friends, with a group of colleagues, and go and talk to people there, share your knowledge, and that will be your branding right there. Another great example is, let's say, going to hackathons, going to code contests. A lot of companies do that, and I have here the battle hack contest. You're bothering me. So a great thing is a battle hack. For example, we do that at PayPal here, and we do it for charity. So, uh, so you have to win a hackathon at a particular city, and the winners go on to win the final. So that's a battle hack we do, and the winner walks away with $100,000. So you see, you get money, you get visibility, you get branding, you are known for doing something good in your community, and you're building your brand as well. So that is those are some tools that you can use. Talking about um, talking about internal tools. Let's say you want to build a branding within your company, and I know each one of us does great work. So you could document what you are doing. Um, let's say on a wiki, you could create powerhouses in your. You could create, let's say, a power hour, not powerhouse, but a power hour in your company where you are sharing your knowledge with the rest of the company. Do brown bag, right? Write articles. And most of the companies today, different teams publish their own newsletters. Use that. Use the power of publishing, and 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 spread the word about you. So identify the tools that work for you within the company and that work for you outside the company, and contribute and use those tools. Now talking about myself, so I go to meetups, almost almost one or two meetups a week. I publish my blog. I have my blog. I also um, go to conferences, speak at conferences. Even if I'm not speaking there, I would be at the booth talking to people, letting them know what PayPal is doing in the technology front. Go to hackathons. I have open source contributions. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, but it gives a lot of satisfaction to me, and it gives me uh, opportunities that never existed, and I never thought existed for me before. Now, moving on to slide number 21. This is a picture of our Battle Hack winners. See, uh, look at them with this $100,000 award and the kind of visibility they got in the media, the kind of visibility they got in the press, uh, mentorship from our executives and our leaders, and these are our winners. So now, if there's one thing that you take from this presentation, then that has to be this, and that is that you got to market yourself. You have to be your own ambassador. Nobody else is going to market you. That's the hard truth, and that is how it is. You could have multiple contributions in the GitHub. You could be writing a blog. Let's say you're writing it every week or twice a week. But if you do not market it, you'll just get lost. So the biggest challenge, or uh, the key factor to build your brand is also to market yourself. And we are lucky today to have a bunch of social media tools. Moving on to slide number 23, you'll see a whole bunch of social media tools that you can see. And let's talk about these tools. So you have your LinkedIn. I'm sure each one of you have a profile on LinkedIn. If you don't, please go ahead and today create a LinkedIn profile. What and don't feel shy. It's a place where you brag about yourself. You talk about your contributions. You talk about your publications. You talk about the great projects and the work that you are doing. Talk about if you have excelled in academics. Talk about that. Your hobbies. If you are contributing um, in a social cause, let's say you're going and teaching, let's say computer science to underprivileged kids. Talk about it on LinkedIn so people know you as a person in the technology space. So LinkedIn is one. You could if you talk uh, conferences and do your presentations, make sure you have a SlideShare account, right? And yeah, please check with your companies so as not to put your proprietary information over there. So use that judgment, but create a SlideShare account and put your presentations up there, right? Another great tool, Twitter. Use the power of Twitter. You publish a great idea, a great piece of code. Let the world know about it. Tweet about it. You know, blog on bloggers, and most of them are free tools, so you don't really have to pay anything to use those tools. But what you pay is in terms of the energy and the time that you invest in these tools. So use the power of social media, and once you get out there, you get followers. Um, you'll see other people following you back and other people reaching out to you. Yep. So so use the power of social media. Um, if you go to a meetup, let invite your friends over, invite your colleagues over, so they know what you're doing. And when you come back from a meetup, from a conference, share the learning that you have done with with your company. Share with your colleagues. Let them know that you took this time out of your personal life, learned a new skill, and then came back and gave it back to the company. So use this power of social media. Let everybody know that you exist, that you are there. Moving on to slide number 24. And this is again when I say you have to invest a lot of time and energy in it. Brand building is a process, you know. You just cannot create a brand in a day or in a day or two. And it's not that like it doesn't work like you let's say you're being tweeted and you are uh, everybody's following you and then you don't push anything for a long time and then your brand just starts to fade away. So it's a process. It's a continuous process. It's a continuous uh, effort in terms of putting your code out there, letting everybody know, giving yourself, giving time out of your life. So it's a it's a process, and you have to work day in and day out to create a brand for yourself. Any questions? Any questions so far? And I have a note here from Deanna, and she says LinkedIn profiles are critical projects, volunteer work, work samples. Yep, all of these are great examples of things that you can share with with your colleagues, with the community about yourself. So let's summarize what we talked about in this presentation. First of all, and I'm on slide number 25. So first of all, it's a brand is something that will add uniqueness to yourself, to you. That will make you unique. But a brand doesn't come for free. You really have to invest in building your brand. You have to invest in terms of your time, you have to invest in terms of your energy. A lot of energy goes in, a lot of continuous work goes in to build a positive brand for yourself. And an interesting word that I wrote down here is building a positive brand. Now, it doesn't take long to have a negative branding as well, so be careful of that. So build a positive technology brand. If you want to push code to GitHub, make sure there are no uh, errors in there, that the code works and it's well documented. It's something that people outside can use. That's what I mean when I do a positive technology brand, because once a, 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 a not so good piece of code goes out there and is associated with your name, that's where you're stuck. And it takes a lot of effort to reverse that. So invest in building a positive technology brand. Use the tools that are available to you. Use GitHub, use open source technologies and give back to them. Go to conferences, meetups. A lot of them are free. Voices Conference, for example, is free, right? So you can join in, listen to great ideas, actually contribute back to them, connect with the speakers, connect with other colleagues, and do a little networking yourself and use these tools. Actually, one of the greatest tools is your friends and family and your peers. They are great tools to spread the word around. So use these tools and create a brand for yourself. The next thing is you need to market your brand. Don't don't you just don't create a brand and not let the world know about it. Use the tools, use the power of social media to market your brand. And then finally, you have to keep working on it. You cannot just do it one time and then forget about it. Have to develop a strategy, keep working on it, and create uh, your branding. And that's me. I want to thank you for listening to me. Here are my information that you can use to contact me. And do we have any more questions? Let's see. Oh, thank you, Brad. How do we strategy? Someone asked, can anyone go to the hackathons? Yes, absolutely. Anyone can go to the hackathons. um, uh, all you need to do is type hackathon in your location and you'll get a whole bunch of hackathons that are probably having today with today probably or over the weekend in your area. You just go register there uh, and get in there. And in usually hackathons, you go form small teams and work there. So you network with those people, and then if you have built a great tool, go you win prizes, and then you get that kind of visibility. So yeah, anyone can go to the hackathon. Most of them are free. You'll actually come back with a lot of goodies as well. So it's a good place to go. Another thing that Diana is saying is network with speakers on LinkedIn. Sure, please. And I encourage you to reach out to me as well, as I'm going to reach out to a lot of other speakers. And I already have my list of people that I'm going to network with once the conference is over, who I know are living in the same city and I hardly knew about them. So network with the speakers on LinkedIn, connect with them on social media, go out and create a little hangout or create a little circle and talk about it. So, yeah, lots of opportunities there. It's just a matter of going out there and doing it with all the passion. Uh, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to meet some of you and I hope to connect with you. And reach out to me if you have any questions, any concerns, anything. Thank you. And you can reach out to me on you can tweet me at Pragati Yoga or follow me on the SlideShare. I have uploaded my presentations on the SlideShare. It's www.slideshare.net/Pragati Yoga. So thank you again. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you very much for uh, doing Voices 2014. Um, and, and it looks like a great conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And this is the beauty of having virtual conferences is we get to see life in real action going on right next to you.
Yeah.
So this is great. There's so many great takeaways here, and I really, women all the time, especially in India, ask me, oh, I want to get a job. Can you help me find a job? And you're really hitting the nail on the head. It's about getting yourself out there and branding yourself as somebody who really cares about this community and technology. And the jobs will come to you if you position yourself in such a way that people understand that you're really making a contribution, a positive contribution to the community. So great words to live by as you're uh, plotting your career trajectory. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, everybody.
All right, well, this wraps up this wonderful session, and we hope to see you at future sessions. We still have 12 sessions to go, 13 sessions to go. So plenty of opportunities to network and to see new speakers and to learn new things. So I hope to see you on future sessions. Take care, everybody.